same old story of this cycle. Bitcoin sneezes and altcoins puke their guts out. What a bloodbath. I guess your experience depends on whether you are on spot or leverage and whether you trade low leverage or high leverage. I definitely suffered with some of my high leverage trades. But let's take things from the beginning and see where we stand. So Bitcoin. I have discussed previously in my previous market updates this conceptual idea of floors. So what have happened is that now D has happened, which is the deviation of the previous all-time high. And now we see a correction, which the degree of the correction or the magnitude, I shall say, we cannot define yet. So it can be a deep correction, it can be a shallow correction, price can continue sharply up or down. This is hard to assess at the moment. So this deviation has happened. What I would expect, it would have been a little bit more strength from the altcoins. So when in this pullback, I would expect some rotation to the altcoins and see some strength. Not calling for an alt season, but I was expecting a little bit more strength than what we saw. Actually, yesterday altcoins gave up significant gains. In a way, this is good long term. It means that we're not close to end of the cycle, and I think this signifies that probably we do have some way to go. So it gives more ground to the idea that the cycle top could be maybe towards the end of the year. What I'm going to see now in the charts, Bitcoin has so far a very small pullback. USDT dominance, it's a little bit at a point that it's hard to assess. We can see that this could be a potential rejection. And so here we can see a potential small distribution pattern to bring USDT dominance back to minimum 4.4%. However, this is not a confirmed model, and as much as it can come down to 4.4, it can push up to at least 5% or higher. Inconclusive, and inconclusive is Bitcoin dominance as well. Again, at the moment, today, it pushed up, quickly retraced. It can be a rejection and rollover. However, it's not a confirmed model. This can very much be the beginning of a breakout. And I have previously discussed that for me, it makes absolute sense for the Bitcoin dominance to go, why not, up to 70%. Now, there is a comment that I want to do at this point regarding also alt season. While I think that it's possible Bitcoin dominance to go up to 70%, it also makes sense to reject at a higher level from a fundamental perspective. So the common idea is that with Bitcoin ETFs and everything, that all the attention is on Bitcoin. So this is the argument why Bitcoin can be very, very strong and why we might not see a strong rotation to the alts. But I personally have a counter argument on that. I think that the Bitcoin ETFs and all the attention that Bitcoin gets and the institutional involvement and everything, I think they give credibility to Bitcoin and therefore to the whole crypto world. And also I believe that as Bitcoin and crypto gets mainstream, so people now get more familiar with crypto as a whole, and I think over time they trust crypto assets other than Bitcoin more. So I think it's gonna be easier over time for normal people to invest not only in Bitcoin but also in altcoin, which means that fundamentally I see a good reason why Bitcoin dominance wouldn't reach 70%. And even if it does, I still see that, we should see a huge drop in the Bitcoin dominance at some point. The same argument applies to all the altcoin pairs. So we have Ethereum versus BTC, that it has gone to its range low, while if we go to the total crypto market cap against total 2 against Bitcoin, they haven't gone to the range lows against Bitcoin. They have lower to go here. But I believe that the reason that I explained before, it might be the reason that this, it will not go all the way to the range low. And I believe that there is a world where the Ethereum versus Bitcoin did the job for all the altcoins as a whole. So Ethereum reaching the range low, it might be the case that Ethereum took the hit for all the altcoins. In the bigger scheme of things, I do expect that Bitcoin dominance sooner or later it will have at least a 20% drop. So I expect that Bitcoin dominance will go back to this level, which is just below 50%. So if from this current level, if it goes to 48, it's 16% drop. I do expect a drop like this. It can go all the way down to below 40. So the maximum is to go from 70 to less than 40, or it can reject at some intermediate point. It can find support to 47 or something, bounce from there. But a big drop is expected, and I feel very confident for my altcoin spot bags while Bitcoin dominance goes up. I struggle to believe that we will see a cycle top and a cycle end without a significant drop in the Bitcoin dominance. Also, very important to say that yesterday, today you see that 24 hours liquidation is almost 700 million. Most of them are on long side. Yesterday this reached above 900 million, and more than 800 million were again on the long side. So on the past 2 days we had way more than 1 billion in liquidations, and most of them they were on the long side. Massive liquidation events above 1 billion oftentimes are turning points, pivot points. So it could be the case that the local bottom for this small correction is in. Also, if you see now the last 4 hours and the last hour, you see now the tides are starting turning. So it's way more percentage of on the short side that gets liquidated than on the long. And if we see the liquidation heat map, 24 hours, they don't give a clear picture. It's even. I think it's the same in the 12 hour. So yeah, in the 12 hour, it's already building up some liquidation below. But as we zoom out, if we go to the 48 hour, you see now we have significantly more liquidation on the upside. And the more we zoom out, the better. The 1 week liquidation heat map, looks awesome. It looks like, you know, we took pretty much all the liquidity from the bottom, and now there's so much to go above. And the other thing that I want to say is here I have Bitcoin on the weekly. So we had 7 consecutive green weeks. In the history of the Bitcoin, I think we had one instance with 7 green weeks in a row, and then we had a red week, and we had, I think, 2 occasions of 8 green weeks before a red week. So this was to be expected. I think here is one instance, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then we had consolidation, and then back here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 here. Small correction will continue up, and I think I cannot find now the other instance with the 8 consecutive green weeks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 here. So you get the point. It's 7 or 8 typically before we see a red week, and then it depends if we see a red week. It can be the case that the red week is just a red week before continuation, or it can be the beginning of a few weeks of consolidation. I have marked up this, and I'm not taking a position whether it's going to be a continuation or a longer consolidation. I think at this point it's very hard to assess what is going to happen. It's very hard to assess where Bitcoin is going to stop on the pullback. I follow a few traders, very experienced, which I respect a lot. There are people that expect a bounce actually in this level at 104,000. There are people that expect 100,000. There are people that expect 97,000. And you can make valid arguments for all these levels. This line here marks the last high time frame low. So as long as we don't close below that in the 12-hour chart or in the daily chart, we are in an uptrend. So this is the last low. It means that as long as we close above this 100,000, 600 something, then we're still technically on the way to make a higher low. If we close on the 12-hour or the daily below this line, then we will make a lower low, which is going to be a break of structure. And things can get more complicated. For now, it's all good. There is one thing that I don't like. Oh, this is not loading because I have a lot of... come on, let's get rid... Okay, this is annoying now because my camera is on top of this and I cannot close it, and I have a lot of indicators on. So this is the 21 exponential moving average. Yeah, it's here. So Bitcoin lost that on the daily, and typically when Bitcoin stays above the 21 EMA, we have continuation. When we lose it, things can get ugly. So we had a close yesterday below. I think it would be nice if we reclaim this quickly. If you see in the history, wherever we go below, we have bigger corrections. I did find an instance here. You see, here is an instance that we lost it and we reclaimed. So one day we closed below, next day we reclaimed and we continued. So if same things happen, if the same thing happen, it means that if today we close above the 105, 162, it can be a similar case than the one that I just showed you. I'm not saying that it has to reclaim the 21 EMA today, but I think it's important for me if we reclaim it soon. If not today, maybe tomorrow, because if we have at least 3 or more daily candles closing below the 21 EMA, that can be a sign of a deeper correction. The whole thing gets very tricky because now I think there is a disconnection in the charts between Bitcoin, Ethereum, and the rest of the alts. Ethereum now, it's consolidating in this region here. I don't want to necessarily draw 2 lines here and call it some sort of a bull flag. You can see it like that, a bull flag, which is a continuation pattern, or you can draw this as a diagonal, in which case it will look like we broke this trend line, because generally this would squeeze up, so then you can argue that we lost it. But yeah, Ethereum, for me, it's very hard to assess. I know that a lot of people are calling for 2400. I do like to keep an eye on my oscillators here. I have mentioned before that the daily stochastic RSI goes down while the price goes sideways, which is in general a good sign. So it picked up a little bit and then it knocked back down. And what I like is that it's bottoming in lower time frames as well. In the 12 hours it's on the bottom, in the 8 hours is on the bottom, and in the 4 hours is on the bottom, starting to pitching up now. I think on the 1 hour, on the 1 hour it's up because we had the past few hours a little bit of green. But 4 hours, 8 hours, 12 hours daily are all bottomed. Counter argument on the weekly, it has stayed up, but the stochastic RSI is up. The normal RSI it's at 52, and the yellow average is scaling up. So I like what I see from the momentum oscillators when it comes to Ethereum. Again, I don't want to say whether it will break out or whether it will go back to the 2400 or 2300. It makes perfect sense to hit these levels. We have some quite inefficient candles here. We can revisit them fine. The counter argument is that from a market maker perspective, I don't expect the levels that everyone expects to hit. So if I see traders marching up the 2400 level, being ready to pull the trigger for and go heavy long, I don't think the market will give them that. Either it will go with the 2400 and then it will knock and liquidate them all, or it will bounce from a higher level and they will not give them the level. So if you see a lot of people that are calling for the same level, I'm getting quite biased that this level is not likely to hit and then bounce. I think these are the main points that I wanted to cover. Also, what I was saying. So, Bitcoin, it has this small pullback. Ethereum has this consolidation, and then you have altcoins totally nuking. I'm gonna open the Sonic chart on the daily. Sonic is putting here a triple bottom. So Sonic actually is revisiting its, if you exclude this week here, effectively it's at all-time lows. I suffered with a few trades, trying to save them. I was expecting yesterday for a low time frame bounces to sell a little bit, to buy back lower. The market wouldn't give me that. It was very frustrating. And here is my dear Zeus. Zeus again went to all-time low territory. And I think it's a few of them. You can find instances. Gunzilla totally nuked yesterday. It's a newer coin. However, it did like a massive all-time low from the previous 4 cents. It went back to 3.6 cents. So not only they give back gains, but some of them they do new all-time lows. And there is this disconnect, which makes it very hard to navigate the market. I did buy today some Sonic on spot. I think it's a triple bottom. Below that, it's the abyss. Now, whether the market makers will come for this week at 30 cents, I don't know. But for spot, it's okay. And this is a trade also because I'm on a high leverage trade on Sonic that I was trying to save. Still in the trade. However, if it goes for that week, I cannot see how I'm gonna manage to save that one. It's on 10x leverage. So that's the disconnect. I gave you... In April, I have shared this again before on my Twitter account. I shared this screenshot as the generation entries. Sonic is back to those lows. So I bought some Sonic, and I also bought some spot on Beam, because Beam is revisiting very low prices again. It's not back to the all-time lows at the 5 cents. It's at 6 cents. Good enough for spot for me, because I don't know if all coins will go to their absolute lows or make new all-time lows. I would be surprised. It is a possibility though. But when you see chart like this, especially Sonic really being on the low, I think it's a place to bid some altcoins. And I'm showing this again because this is also the kind of altcoins that I'm looking at now mainly. Because if the worst happens, these are all projects that are either layer ones or category leaders. These are all projects that I expect to be around for the long term. So if the unthinkable happens, let's say, so one unthinkable scenario is that we do have an alt season, and the alt season is, let's say, Q3 of 2026, which is something that it's totally out of the head of everyone. In this case, what can happen is that some of the projects that look strong now, it is possible that they will not survive one more year. The strong coins, however, will survive, which is why, even though I'm a degen myself and I'm putting money in low caps and everything and newer projects, the core bag should have coins like this. It's a way of risk management. I also started nibbling in some leverage longs, but I did open a new one on Beam. This is my old trade. So this is what happened for me over the past couple of days, because I had such a nice entry here, covered for these lows. I didn't expect to give all the gains. I was expecting to do like a higher low. Still, this can be a higher low though, and this is my stop loss. So it was a very loose stop loss. For me, it was possible to have a wick here, and I didn't want to put my stop loss very close to the wick. I didn't want to get stopped, but the liquidation event that happened yesterday actually hit my stop loss. So I opened a new trade, but in much less leverage. This was a 10x. Now I opened a 4x. So I need to update this trade to reflect my actual trade at the moment. I just left it on to show you guys what I'm doing at the moment and what happened over the past couple of days. So here I'm now in 4x, so my liquidation price is much lower, and it's not a big position. So if it goes towards my liquidation price, I'm gonna double down, and this will bring my liquidation price below the all-time low. So for some of you, this might be a valid strategy. For some of you, might not make sense because some of you want to get clinical, find the perfect entry. I think at the moment is a potential very nice bottom for a lot of alts. And for me, it's always the case that the market makers can front run levels, which is why sometimes I want to enter a trade on lower leverage, but then be ready to scale in going down. I have mentioned this before. So this on Beam, I have opened 20 to 25% of my position. So if it goes to my liquidation level, I'm gonna inject 25 more. So I'm gonna be 50% of my position in, which means that actually, even if it starts exploring the abyss, if I want, I can add another 50% and drop my liquidation price very, very low. And when the market recovers, this can look as the nice pick of bottom entry. Someone asked me in my video about Griffane to make an update on Griffane. So I want to show you Griffane as well. So Griffane is here. Very upsetting. So I did take a little bit of profits when I hit this level, and yesterday Griffane hit my stop loss, which is up here. So I took a little bit of profits here, and then I round tripped the rest. However, this is from my entry. My stop loss is 24% on 10x leverage. That's 240%, which is almost 3.5x. It's 3.4x, and plus the profits here. So I realized almost 5x in this trade. And what I have done now is that I have opened a limit order at around this level, just below 0.52. I don't know if it's gonna be hit, and again, it's for 20 or 25% of what I'm planning to put in a leverage long on Griffane. And again, so if this order gets filled and there is some sort of consolidation here, Then if it goes close to my liquidation, I'm gonna add to my position. If if my order gets filled and then it keeps nuking down, the market looks like ready to nuke down, I'm not gonna save my trade. I'm gonna let this 20-25% get liquidated and see whether I'm gonna enter lower as well. At this stage of the market, limit orders are very risky. It's better if you assess price action live. But it's for me. It depends on my schedule, how much I can be on the charts and everything, and because I will not be able to monitor the chart so closely all the time, I decide to take the risk with a limit order. Also, covering Griffane. For me, Griffane is a category leader. It's one of the, I don't know, maybe top 3, top 4 AI projects on Solana. So on Solana it's Render, but Render I see it more as a deepin project. And then I see Tai and Griffane as two projects that now they're low caps. And they have huge potential, even though Griffane gave back pretty much the whole move here. I think this pump is a very positive sign. And it shows that despite the correction that the market had, Griffane is still a category leader. So when the market, the altcoin market comes back, Griffane will come back. If you're going to buy spot, I think this level, it's excellent for spot buys. I'm not gonna buy more spot personally, just because my first buys on Griffane were in the 4.5 million, and I'm happy with my spot bag. So if I manage to build a leverage long position as an extra, fine. But I'm not looking to add more spot. But this level, even at the current level 6 million, I think it makes sense to buy some spot. So I'm bullish on Griffane. This hasn't changed. The project is backed by the Solana Foundation, and I think it has the potential to perform very well, especially since it's not yet in a tier 1 exchange. It can pump a lot, and then with the hype that will return to the project, it can get tier 1 listings, and then the price can potentially skyrocket. Okay, we already exceeded half hour of this video. I think I covered pretty much everything. Just going through the charts to see if there is any other coins that I would like to mention. I keep an eye on Andy. Okay. I also started a new. I got liquidated before in a leverage long on Andy. Now I'm starting again. I opened here a position, a small one, low leverage, because if keeps nuking, eventually I will have to be clear of all this here, which is quite a long way down. So small position, low leverage. The moment that it comes here, I double down. My liquidation comes below these candles. If it goes again towards this liquidation price, I can add more, and then I'm clear of the all-time lows. And I think Andy is one of the best meme coins and projects overall to hold on Ethereum. But yeah, this is not to talk about meme coins or altcoin picks. The general idea is that you can start nibbling on spot on projects that are on very low levels. Going back to S, it does this triple bottom. For example, if Kaspa decides to do a triple bottom here, I'm gonna be buying heavily Kaspa at this between 5 and 6 cents. Even though it's one of my, it's my biggest, not one of, it's my biggest spot bag. If it comes back to below 6 cents, I'm gonna do something. I don't know if I'm gonna start building a leverage position or if I'm gonna buy more spot. Maybe both. But yeah. So today I bought S just because it is on this triple bottom. Okay, now start repeating myself. I think that's all. If you enjoy the content, please like the video, subscribe if you haven't. Check the link for the private channel, the Telegram channel, where I share things live, including low cap meme coins, other picks, moves that I make, thoughts on the market as the market unravels itself and everything. And until next time, stay focused, stay level-headed, and take care.